evening and welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBcast. As you can see, I'm all on my little lonesome tonight. No Anne-Marie, no Stan, but we've got Paddy. There you go, mate. How are we? Oh, sorry. There we go. How are we, mate?
All good, Andrew. We're all good.
Yeah. We will be joined, I think, by Anne-Marie in a bit. No Stan this week, but hopefully he'll be back with us next week. Good evening to everybody in the chat as well. Paddy, I want to start off by giving huge credit to the main three fan groups who've two-footed City, really, and fan power and stuff like that. Obviously, it's a 1894 group, Trade Union Blues, MCFC Food Bank, and a couple of representatives from the City Matters reps. I think it's brilliant the way the fan power's done that. We've got egos like Kev Parker who thinks that it's all about him, unfortunately, but he's been getting a bit of a wrath from the fans this week over the past few days on X, and quite rightly so.
Absolutely. It's amazing what a bit of embarrassment does, isn't it? When the stands are empty, the matter should be for the first 6 minutes or 9 minutes, whatever the case may be. It's the optics of the whole thing, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And they don't like that, hence why it worked. Yep.
But like Harry's just said there, fair play to Trade Union Blues, 1894 and Food Bank. They have been instrumental in what's happened, in City overturning, quite a few things. And it just shows you fan power. And like you said, the protest and stuff like that. It's a victory for the people, in it.
Yeah, but we have to give a shout out to City Managers as well, because the City Managers reps went on strike, and because the City wouldn't meet them, so you have to give them kudos for that. They didn't have to go on strike, but they did. Mm-hmm. Look, collective action always works. Always. It never fades not to work. Once everyone is singing off the same hymn sheet, and I know not all City fans bought into the whole idea, but that's kind of like, I'm all right, Jack, and I'll act when it affects me. So it's the collective action, and plus it's the optics of Sky Sports been there, half the stands been empty, stands on the fan course, citizen journalists now posting content of all the fans on the concourse, and the City don't want that. Just the way City won't go after all these fellas that slagged us off about 115. They don't want bad publicity, and that's why it works. So everybody embarrassed and shamed them in this.
It's like what Briggs said there, and everyone involved in City Matters. But then I will just jump to exactly what Nick says. Not everyone in City Matters. Absolutely spot on. It was only a couple of the representatives. Forget the other guy, and it's Alex was in. A couple of them did, mate. It wasn't all of them, because you've got people like and again, Anne-Marie, we just good evening, by the way. We're just going on about what a huge victory it is for fan power.
Massive victory.
1894 Trade Union Blues and the Food Bank, and a couple of the representatives from City Matters. Just saying.
And I think, just going back to that, I think the real people that deserve the credit are 1894 and the trade unions and the Food Bank, because they're the ones that organised the protests. City Matters didn't organise the protests, as far as I'm aware. And I know it's been a touchy subject for certain people this week.
Would you care? Has he got the initials of a peanut?
Yes, he does indeed.
All right.
No, I've already called Kev Parker out. He's got an ego bigger than the world itself. I'm more than happy to go on. There'll be certain channels where I'll be afraid, to say anything against Kev Parker, but I've called him out quite a few times, and rightly so. He thinks it's all about him, and it's not all about him. You know, he wants the club to basically, well, he wants City Matters to take all the credit for what's happened, and it's absolute bullshit that from Kev Parker. It really is. So, and quite rightly, he's got the wrath of a lot of people since all this came out, and I just don't know how his ego is going to come back down to earth, because.
No, but you see, just mentioning his name, as we know, opens up a whole can of worms that makes me question things even more. You know, I'm not convinced he's the right man in his.
It's not. I've publicly asked him to step down a number of times in public. Will he?
I think the fact that we know of certain people who got tickets for certain games when nobody else could, and that for me is not Kevin Parker's role. And
we know one of them. He one of them was a Bulgarian guy where he'd never been to a match in his life. And we know Kev Parker actually got him a ticket for it for the Champions League final.
Yeah,
you know, and that's what started my blood boiling, because you've got proper match day fans.
But then it doesn't. I know it. You know, I know we've named him, but I know of another person who got a ticket to City against Real Madrid, and I reported him. And I reported him to the club as well, because I wanted to know how he got his ticket. He wasn't a member. He wasn't a season ticket holder. And yet he got a ticket from the club for a game in Real Madrid. And, you know, I've seen the thing on one of the websites. It was on either Sky News or BBC News this week about touts and how they actually have somebody within Ticketmaster as an example, and I'm sure it's the same elsewhere, who help and make it easier for them to get tickets when these big concerts go on sale. And it's just corrupt, and it really niggles me.
Yeah, it's like what Nick says there. You know, sadly we've lost a couple of good people of City Matters this week, especially Alex Howell, who helped me out with an issue, and that's why I cited a couple of the City Matters reps. Alex, what a shame that City Matters have lost Alex, because Alex was very, very vocal in everything, and unfortunately, City don't want people very, very vocal, you know, in tackling some of the real issues within the club. They want yes men, yes women, but it's about time that they started to wake up and smell the coffee, because half of these issues have been caused by people like we know who, where the distribution of tickets gets in the wrong hands. Like you said, Anne-Marie, as far as I'm concerned, it's ticket outs that.
Yeah.
You know, so it does make you wonder. So yeah, it's a huge pat on the back for the fan groups and the fans, because it just shows you know, people power. And what really drove it home for me as well, the first protest against Leicester, I was expecting a lot of stick, you know, from Leicester fans, but a lot of them was absolutely
in agreement,
amazed, you know, how we took a stand, because it's not about just being, you know, successful, you know, the second richest club in the world, etc., etc. It's about standing up for your beliefs, not having the piss took out of you. There's limits to everything. And
standing up for your fellow supporters.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm just so glad it has happened. Paddy, are you okay there, my friend?
Yes, I'm perfectly okay.
Good.
I think the last time I checked on myself, 1972.
So you normally have a balanced head on things, Paddy. Am I any disagreements with what me and Anne-Marie have said so far?
No. But you see, the if you listen to ex-players, physios get tickets, massage therapists get tickets, kit man gets tickets, groundsman gets tickets. It's impossible to stop. And then you have 9 legitimised ticket touts working on behalf of the club. So there's obviously going to be a certain amount of fans that are going to lose out, genuine fans. You know, there's no. Yes, you can have all the points and all the loyalty rewards that goes along with them points, but when it comes to the crunch, the insider dealing, the insider tickets, all the staff get tickets. They're going to give them the mates, or probably not even City fans. Like that guy who left, who went to manage over in Spain, was it? Like he was one of the biggest culprits, one of Pep's assistants. Like he was giving tickets away like snuff at a wake. But
and it's no coincidence one of them have actually parted with the club, and we brought somebody else in because it's Caldoun still knows what's going on. He's not a stupid man. You know, people seem to think that he's lost touch because of all the different things what are going on within the City football group and stuff like that. But the biggest club out of all them are Manchester City. So the main focus is going to be on City. And
can I tell you something about Caldoun, which won't go down anywhere, never mind won't go down well here tonight. Caldoun talks out of the 2 sides of his mouth. Depends who he's talking to. Caldoun will tell you what you want to hear.
In what way?
Isn't that them all in general, Paddy?
Yeah, but City fans think he's the saviour of Manchester City and he's this and he's that. Yeah, he's done a lot for City, but he's backed up by a sheik. The interview he gave, the latest interview, the end of season review that he gave about the tickets and about it shouldn't have happened and all this kind of carry on. Well, do you know what? You're the captain of the ship. You should have known what was going on. It shouldn't. That second protest shouldn't have had to take place if Caldoun had his finger on the pulse, which he does know what's going on. He just chose to turn a blind eye, and now all of a sudden, now, oh, they're this, they're that, whatever. Caldoun talks out of 2 sides of his mouth. He's not genuine.
I agree with you, Paddy. But I also think if you look at the second protest against Aston Villa and the impact that had, you know, once all the fans came into the stadium after 6 minutes.
Wolves?
No, it wasn't Wolves. It was Aston Villa.
Aston Villa. So I was there.
You was there? Oh, yeah. Paddy was there.
But
I was there for the 2 protests, actually.
But
it's your fault. You're the
once the fans came in, the atmosphere was probably one of the best atmospheres. Oh, we've lost him. Hooray.
Thank God.
It was probably one of the best atmospheres we've had at the Etihad in a long, long time. It seemed to invigorate the crowd, and that will have had a bigger impact on City's management level than anything else would have done. You're not staying with us, Andy.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
See, I've got a face for radio.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened with me, mate.
We knew that.
But like,
I'm back.
You know that interview that Caldoun gave, right? It was like the people underneath him were doing whatever they wanted, carte blanche to do whatever they want, and he was absorbing himself of all responsibilities regards to ticket issue, which was wrong. He threw them under the bus. Go back and listen to the interview.
Yeah, it's just I just feel it's a real victory. I really do, and again, fair play. Right, let's talk on the field. Club World Cup. We've had 3 matches since we was last on. With 4 confirmed transfer. Well, 5 if you talk about the Norwegian kid as well. It's been a pretty hectic week, hasn't it? You know, all over there in Miami now, ready for the Club World Cup.
I was thinking that your introduction will be about a half an hour long now. Next season, get into the show.
I was thinking, oh, have I gone again?
Yep. Can't see Andy.
Well, you can hear me, can't you?
Yeah.
That's the main thing. So yeah, I was thinking that, Paddy, on the intro. I thought it's the last time. It'll be a new one for next week, mate.
Be about half an hour long.
But and I say but, I'm just going to put something on the screen. I think. Oh, I'm having trouble here. Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker's not going to be on it.
No. Good riddance to him.
I think he's pissed on his chips, personally.
He certainly has this week.
Do you know something? I would have given it, if it had just been in a newspaper, I would have given him the best.
He's gone now. What's Kyle Walker done?
Kyle Walker did a podcast with, I think it might have been Michael Brown. I could be wrong.
His usual podcast.
I think so. And basically what he said in it, that he'd give up one of the titles he won with City to have won it with Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
And he was going through...
I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, because Michael Brown tried to then get him to pinpoint which one he'd pick. And he was going through and then he picked the Centurions, the Formidable, where we won the 4 domestic trophies, and he was struggling to pick which one. And it was just such a stupid comment to make. It was a stupid thing to say.
I know it was a stupid thing to say, but I think and I'm not defending Kyle Walker by any stretch of the imagination, but I think what he meant was he would have liked to have won something with Tottenham rather than not won something with Man City. And it's been picked up wrong.
But the way you have to be careful how you word things, though, Paddy, and that's common sense. And the way he did it and the way he worded it made it sound like he'd have preferred to win it with Tottenham. And I just think I was so disappointed in him. I mean, he was finished with us anyway. And if he wasn't, he most certainly is now.
I just think it was an absolutely stupid thing for him to say.
Yeah, but footballers are not known for their intelligence, are they? You know?
Very true.
But anyway, on a more positive note, we seem to be oozing talent in that team with all these new additions.
What's going on? Is that better?
Yeah. There's an echo now, but
it's not a Liverpool echo. Hang on. Is that right?
No.
Should be now.
Echo.
Yeah, that's better.
Right. Perfect.
Yeah, no idea what's happened with. I need to start paying my internet, don't I? So yeah, Paddy, did you say it's been taken out of context?
I think what he meant was he would like to have won something with Tottenham rather than lose something with Man City.
And Marie, you're going to have to run the comments tonight, Chuck.
Right, no problem.
Yeah, because I'm on my phone now. No, I don't think it was, because on a podcast, Paddy, it wasn't like a heat of the moment interview. It was premeditated, if you like.
Yeah, well, if he's deliberately said that he would give up a Man City title for a title with Spurs, look, that's his opinion. You know, he can't change what's after happening. But at the same time, you can't ditch what Kyle Walker did for that team. Look how many ex-players have done that in Man City, in fairness.
I think he's done it to piss Stan off and Anne-Marie, to be honest.
He was just demonstrating his stand. He's definitely going.
Yeah. No, I just think it was a stupid remark from him, and it needs. I think not addressing by the club, because he's only saying what's on his mind, etc. But it just shows a lack of class by him. And I've always defended him on this show, for various reasons when Anne-Marie's been trying to hound him out the club. But
it's not about hounding him out the club, Andy. You know what you're doing. It's as you've just said. It's a complete lack of class.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Never say you know what you're doing and mention Andy's name in the same sentence.
That's true. Yeah, we've seen that tonight.
Yeah.
But it's a complete lack of class by him. It's as simple as that. Everything that he's done over the past, particularly 2 years, has shown a complete lack of class, and that says more about him as a person. You're
talking about class for a fella that stands in a packed pub and gets his lad out.
Exactly. It's a different issue. That it's like
he's hardly classy, but
for him to say what he said, on the back of being part and instrumental as well of, something what no club has ever done before by winning 4 on the bounce, winning the treble, where it's only one team's done that years ago when it wasn't relevant and stuff. I just think he's out of order, and I think the City fans
he's a dope. That's what he is. He's a dope, and is it going to pull us up and down? No, it isn't. It won't change reality.
Yeah. Anyway, he's no longer there for me. So let's get on to the new breed who've come in. I just think we've had a sensational transfer window.
We have, but before we go there, can we spend 5 minutes on poor old Jackie Grealish? What's happening?
Well, we'll get on to if you want. We'll get on to Jack in a bit. Let's concentrate on the new breed first, because Cherky, he's come out with comments over the past 24 hours where he's slaughtered United, So the fire's already lit with that one. I've been watching some of the training stuff while they've been over there. Some of the finishing from your mate Marmouche has been nothing short of world class. They all seem to be enjoying themselves. And how long have I've been saying, in particular on this show, that I just had even before these signings, that I had a feeling we will be changing the way we play next season to a more attacking style of play, like we did do when we had Sterling there, when we had Leroy Sané, etc. I just think we're going to be going for it next season again, because Pep Linders is going to be instrumental in it as well. He's going to be. When I say great transfer window, I include Pep Linders in that as well, and the some French from Liverpool. So we've actually gone to Liverpool and took somebody from Liverpool, rather than somebody who was available. So it's. Again, I just think we've had a great transfer, and even Kolo Touré's there. So
his diet pills.
Are they not? They're not working, are they?
No, but isn't that what he got banned for taking?
Mm. Yeah, it looks like he's not Adamson's, a bit like me. But yeah, it just seems a hunger there now, doesn't there? I'm not saying there wasn't a hunger last season, because it's well documented all the woes and stuff like that we had, but it just seems that the new lads have settled in. And I can't wait. I wasn't really asked about the Club World Cup, if I'm being brutally honest. However, I will be watching it now, because it'll be interesting to see how we line up and how the new lads play, because again, we've got £100+ million player, coming back into the squad in Rodri, who was out for a season. So it'd be interesting to see how he links up with Nick. There's so many different scenarios. What could happen next season?
There's so much that could happen.
Looking at the training videos, it's fairly intense. It's high octane stuff.
Yeah, what one signing has pleased you the most out of? And tell us in the chat as well. The one signing, what's pleased you the most? For me, Reinders, he's the one who I've watched closely for a number of years, and I just can't wait to see him play.
I don't think I haven't seen anything play, Andy, to be honest with you, so I can't comment. And I'm not watching YouTube to see their 1,000 best bits. I'll judge them on what I see with my own two eyes in real life.
I'm with Paddy on that.
Yeah, but Paddy's not normally watching. Paddy's normally 2 minutes behind now, doesn't he, on his stream?
No, I upgraded now. The Fire Stick's up to date now.
So,
do we think our buy-in is over?
No. I think there could be now. Even Khaldoon, and one of and again, Chris Bailey. The interview did it. I love Chris Bailey. He just the way he interviews people is just. It's just so easy on the ears and eyes. He asked Khaldoon, which player, is most looking forward to see next season, and he just went wait and see. Now whether he's referring to Cherky or any of the players, but I just feel there's going to be a banger somewhere.
I don't know if it's going to be a banger, but I have my suspicions that your man Livramento, is it the right back at Newcastle? He'd go. I think, as much as it pains me to say it, I think Jack Grealish be going that way, and he'd be coming this way.
No, I can't see Jack Grealish go to Newcastle because I know it should be a challenge, but he'd be competing with Anthony Gordon, wouldn't he? And really, for Jack's career, I think the best thing for him is to go join somewhere where he's pretty much guaranteed a game every week, because he needs to get back up to where we know Jack Grealish can be. And again, I'll always cite Jack's woes started when we signed Doku, because everything was Doku by certain sections of the City fan base, and that was the start of Jack's downfall. It wasn't
Jack's woes started when we won the treble. And he celebrated like a man possessed. I'm not blaming him for that. It was just unfortunate that everything he did after we won that ended up in the papers.
It did.
That's where his woes started, because everyone, that was what it always came back to. Whenever they talked about him in the press leading up to the following season, it was about how he celebrated the treble. I get it. I totally get why he celebrated it that way. The way any of us, if we'd have been in his position, would have celebrated it that way. But that's the bottom line of it.
I know, but don't you think
I would like to have seen the rest of them players, like the whole squad, we'll say the first 15. I would have liked to have seen cameras and photographers following them 15 round to see what Jack Grealish did was so bad.
Well, don't you think don't you think it's the way the media twists certain things on certain people? And you referenced it last week, Paddy, about it's almost going down the new Gaza route, isn't it? Where the way we build players up, just to knock them down. Look what they've done with Phil Foden. Now, I didn't see the England match last week. When was it? Was it Saturday, Sunday, whenever it was? I didn't see it Tuesday because I was out. But apparently, England was absolutely shocking, and we had Bellingham being petulant. Now, hang on, want people citing that England are crap because it's Phil Foden's fault, because it's he only can play in a certain position and he don't get that chance for England. He's shown that it doesn't matter what manager come in. You know, if you play the players in the position where they're going to benefit the team, then you've got a fighting chance. But you got Bellingham, who's, I don't even rate him. You know, the amount of times Bellingham's petulant. We've seen it in a couple of games against Real Madrid recently. You know, when we played Real Madrid, he's just a petulant little child.
He is, but unfortunately, he's the golden boy at the minute, and you know, for the press and the commentators and whatever else, he can do no wrong. And unfortunately, we're going to get double bubble of it in this Club World Cup because his brother's there as well now. His brother's at Dortmund, isn't he?
Yeah, but you see, he'll find that they did the very same with Rashford. Rashford couldn't do anything wrong there for a few years. But like, the English media just go after these players. Foden, Grealish, Sterling, Rashford, you name it, they go after. It's all English players they go after. And put their life under a microscope for everyone to see. I know some players don't help themselves either.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, you have to have a bit of, and I know it's lacking in a lot of people, common sense.
But I know that, like, but like if you're going to go out, right? Like, you can't expect people to live like monks either. Like, if you're going to go out and have a few alcoholic beverages at the weekend or on your day off, and you're coming home a bit half plastered or fully plastered, there's no escaping that because there's people following them around to get that money shot, as they call it. And that's not fair, you know. They're entitled to a bit of privacy.
No, but Paddy, it's not just that. It's like if I sat and had, I don't know, I had a good few drinks tonight and then I had to be at work for 7:30 in the morning and I didn't turn up till 10 o'clock. Yeah. Would I not face repercussions?
Yeah, but Jack Grealish is not doing that, in fairness.
But I'm not necessarily on about Jack in that context. I'm on about, this is what I'm saying about common sense. That's one of the biggest issues with Rashford. It's one of the biggest issues there's been with Jadon Sancho at every club he's been to. And I think it's just, you know, some of these lads have got to they've got to use a bit of common sense, haven't they?
Yeah.
I'm back in the game now. I'm back in the game. I'm back on my screen. I can take it back over now, Anne-Marie.
Yeah, got it.
I'm still looking at my phone there.
But anyway, back to the exciting times of what lies ahead and what formations we're going to play.
Do you agree that we're going to go more attacking next season?
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Oh, absolutely. But that training thing is anything to go by. It's mega.
Also, one thing I've noticed in that training camp is how happy that the likes of Phil Foden, it also looks as if, you know, he's very, very close to Echeverri as well. You know, somebody his own. It seems like Phil has got his mojo back, or for, you know, he's over whatever's happened to him last season. You know, let the poor kid have a season like he has, because, you know, his quality, and he will be back next season, and it's going to be some. Pep was on about, you know, the amount of players, what he's going to have to leave out, and he wants a small squad, etc. However, that is a bloody quality squad, that what we've got. It's going to be interesting, you know, where I think you'll get the likes of Rodri, who'll be rested quite a few games as well. Not just because of the injury what he's had and stuff, but there'll be certain games where you'll get, say, Nico Gonzalez, Kovacic, where they'll come in for certain kinds of games. That's not disrespecting any other clubs or anything, but we've never been able to be in a position where we've had to play other players because Rodri's always been that important, you know. But we was forced into that last season So I think that's given some of the players what come in a little bit of confidence, especially towards the back end of the season, like Kovacic, who I thought was sensational the back end of last season, and he was playing with an injury. So it just shows you, full credit to Nunes, Kovacic, back end of last season, and I couldn't wait for the season to end. I can't wait for it to start now.
I think what you're right in saying about Rodri, to be honest with you, and I'll tell you why. If we're going to be playing a team, say, they're going to do a low block, well, there's no point in having Rodri in the centre of that park because he doesn't need to be the best centre midfielder then for that. I think Pep will go full on attack and put all the attacking players on that day and maybe rest Rodri. Because if they're going to have a low block, as good as Rodri is, he's not as creative as the players that are after coming in. So you can afford to rest him or give him time out, give him time to recover because he's still after coming back from a serious injury and he's not going to be firing all cylinders for another 3 months.
And it don't need to be though, Anne-Marie, does he? He doesn't need to be fight. And I think that's why the Club World Cup, where obviously Rodri is going to play. He's not going to play. I can't see him playing every single game.
No, but it's like giving him a really good pre-season.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he played a shot. Was it 10 minutes or something back end of last season? And I think that was just a case of things to come because Nico Gonzalez is some player, and we need to appreciate what we've got. We've not seen Echeverri, Oscar Bob. Have any of you heard who's going to be going the other way to Lyon? There's going to be a loan deal, isn't there? Because we've got Cherky.
Oh, I don't know.
Probably McAtee, will it?
No, I think McAtee's off to Germany.
Well, again, would with the greatest respect to McAtee, with the squad what we've got, would he get much game time next season?
No.
So it'll be a case of wishing the lad well. Hopefully, he'll make a great career. But it's
no. But then we have to look and think, what does it say for the likes of Rico Lewis, Nico O'Reilly? What chances are they going to get next season?
But do you know what, Anne-Marie, right? In every walk of life, there's a ceiling put above you. No matter what your job is, it's up to you to bust through that ceiling. I know Andy gives the example of Aki and Laporte sparring it out for the centre back position. Aki took that bull by the reins and won out. You have a choice. Either accept that you're not going to make it or give Pep the impossible choice that he has to play you. But you're always going to have ceilings put up, like limits placed above your head. But the biggest limitation that human beings have is in between their 2 ears. But
I know, I'm just kind of toying with the idea, though, Paddy. Like Andy's favourite devil's advocate. Do we cash in on these players?
Let me ask you both a question then, and the guys in the chat as well. We all want academy players to play for us, yeah. But if they're not, I'm not saying they're not good enough. They're fantastic players, but not the level we'd expect to play, say, maybe week in, week out. Now, would you accept, how can I put it, lesser players, as in the academy lads, playing for us, and the chances are we're not going to win as many games, maybe, or players, regardless of where they come from, where we buy them from, to be top players, and we've got more chance of winning silverware. It's down to your preference, is it? Like, we can fill it with 11 academy kids. Would people have the patience to wait for these 11 to maybe develop at the level we hope?
Our fan base won't have the patience.
Would you personally?
I'd like to say yes, but if I'm honest, I'm not sure, because what I wouldn't want to do is damage the players' confidence, and I worry for some of our younger lads. And I worried when Kushanov made a bollock against Chelsea in his first game, the impact it would have on him. But thankfully, on that occasion, our fans got behind him. I'm not sure if we had an 11 players out that were all academy players, I don't think our fan base would be the same.
But the question was, you'd be a good politician, I'll give you that.
No, I did already answer your question. I said I don't think so.
I'll give you a straight answer. No. The reason why I wouldn't accept that is because, to be fair to you, Anne-Marie, some of the things what you said is spot on. Now, we might have 11, 15, 20 amazing academy kids, but put them in the environment of the Premier League, the Champions League, etc. Now, they could thrive, but also we could absolutely lose them, and that would set the club back a lot of time. I don't think the fan base would. I wouldn't for those reasons. And I've said it even when Paul Lake come on our show, and he's in the same mindset. A successful academy is getting these kids good careers. Now, great if they're with City. If they're not with City, you know they've come through the ranks. We've got a few quid for them, which pays for the academy to keep going. So it's self-funding, and these kids go on to have good careers, like your Cole Palmers. Not just Cole Palmer. There's been that many what have gone on to have great careers. Even going back to the likes of Kieran Trippier, Ben Mee, these kind of players, they've gone on to have really, really good, high level careers. So the game's changed.
It's completely changed. But going back to our fan base, we only need to look in the group, Andy. And then you'll have certain weeks where there'll be certain weeks where you'll have people crying out for the kids to play, and then you put them in for a game, and the next comment is, "Oh, they're not going to make it. They're not good enough," or we shouldn't be playing them in this type of game. And unfortunately, the club as a whole can't win in that situation. And there's very few players like Phil Foden.
Absolutely, Phil Foden's generational. Paddy, you're not getting away with it. Would you accept it? Oh, you got away with it, didn't
you? There's two things in that for me, right? You're trying to inject emotion into football in terms of playing players, and you can't do that. It's a cutthroat business. It's like when you go for a job and you get feedback from the job, you were successful at the interview, but you didn't reach high enough in the panel of merit. So you didn't make the squad. You're outside of the squad. And that involves Rico Lewis, Nico O'Reilly, McAtee, so well and so good. That's the way it is. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Go away. You have a great training under us, and you'll make it somewhere else, and you'll earn a decent living out of the game. But the other thing, Andy, and the most important thing, and people can read up on this if they want, Man City have a Category A academy. It's UEFA listed Category A academy. UEFA released stats last week. 97%, bear that in mind, 97% of academy players do not make it at their parent club.
Mm-hmm. And
that's every Category A club.
You're absolutely right, Paddy, because, and again, we would all love, 11 academy players, all being world class, la-di-da-di-da, but it's never happened. People will go, oh yeah, you never win anything with kids, and they'll cite back to 1992 when the Rags won. Those days have gone. The football has changed, unrecognisable. The pressures, playing like 60, 70 games a season. So if you can bring 1-2 academy players through every couple of seasons, and they make it, like your Ricos. Who's to say Rico Lewis won't make it with City, or Nico O'Reilly, Oscar Bob? You've got to give them a chance, and we've seen playing them consistently doesn't work. What we've seen with Pep, with Foden, he dipped him in, dipped him out, dipped him in, dipped him out. It's very rare that Pep brings a player through and they hit the ground running. You've got you've got your rare examples like your Haalands, etc. Well, I'll hit the ground running. Luckily, Marmoush did exactly the same. But it always gives it, and it's the old adage where everyone says it normally takes players 12 months to adjust the demands, not just for playing for City, but for playing for Pep as well. So if Pep thought we had 11 great players, who had good enough to challenge and stuff like that, he would play them. The reality is, isn't that? But Steve's right there. Steve's right there. There is too much pressure to be world class, even from the start. Everybody. How can you define world class?
I think it's one of those
even the guys we bought,
used, Andy.
What, Anne-Marie?
Even the guys we bought, Andy, right? Go on, Anne-Marie.
I just think the phrase "world class" is overused because in the grand reality is we use it about a lot of players, and the reality is they're not really world class. They're just extremely good players.
Mm-hmm.
Very few that you can actually say are truly world class. For me, we look at the likes of, I would class Rodri as world class because the way he plays, but the impact he has on the team as a whole. We're not the same team without Rodri in it.
No, and it's hard to confirm or deny that one, in my opinion, Anne-Marie, because if we'd have only lost Rodri last season and we're just without Rodri, through injury and no other players, we'd have had a better gauge, wouldn't we? But because we had so many, and I mean so many injuries, it's hard to gauge it. But Kev's got a great point there. PSR changes how our academy operates, because people go on about all the spending what City's done. Our academy have actually enhanced our spending, and that should not, but it shouldn't go unrecognised because, what is it, 40 plus million for Cole Palmer? We've got the list is endless. So it has to.
The guys were after buying, right? Even the January signings, they've had to learn their trade at a different club, at different levels, different scenarios, and now they've come to us almost, we'll call the finished product. You couldn't say Rico Lewis, Nick O'Reilly, or any of them were the finished product. Cole Palmer, not the finished product. You'll see it now next season. Give it 4 games. The Lap scores twice at Chelsea in the M4 games. Oh, Man City made a ball selling him. You wait for it.
It'll happen.
It's going to happen. But you see, that's why when Man City sell on these players, there's both. There's a sell on clause inserted. We actually get money off the Lap for going to Chelsea and a few others. Plus, there's the buyback option. But you have to look at it in context when we're letting these players go. Like, who are you putting out of the team to let Cole Palmer play? Who are you going to put out of the team to let that play? Sancho play? The list goes on. But there's a little bit of a bugbear in minds around that academy, right? And it's because I follow the academy and always have done. when we used to get the monthly magazines off Man City, I used to go straight to the academy because I have an interest in young developing kids. When that academy was built, it was built on the Barcelona model of being a conveyor belt. They get money into the club and get careers for people who don't make it at our club. There's one thing that Man City do that 99% of other clubs don't do. If you don't make it as a footballer at Manchester City, they will educate you up to degree level. They will pay for your education if you don't make it as a footballer. And a lot of them kids they do their education in the morning and they do the football in the afternoon. So it runs in conjunction. Like even the approach they're doing now with the under 18s, it's starting to pay off and you can see it. There's the one-on-one time where you can improve, what you need to do better, what you need to brush up on, what you need to keep doing and all that kind of stuff. You can see it in the under 18s. They're unbelievable. So
but Paddy, it's going back to the world class thing. We don't buy world class. We create I think everybody agrees Rodri's world class.
Yeah.
It wasn't when we bought him. It wasn't when we bought him. People are calling him Plodry. It's only, and again that backs up the theory about 12 months with Pep and training with the players. Like somebody said it about Foden. Yeah, it was Nick. Foden would make it anytime. Also train with Silva, Aguero, Sané, Sterling, KDB, Bernardo. And again, it's all about attitude and application. Sancho is an embarrassment. So it's you've got to have that.
No, that's not fair. He's not an embarrassment. He just doesn't have the mindset Foden does. But like, here's one for you. World class. Right now, tell me 10 players that play in the Premiership who are world class.
No, let's narrow it down. Tell me how many
5.
Tell me how many truly world class players play for City.
Now or just in general?
It's for me, it's an impossible answer. It's impossible to answer because it's our own interpretation of what is world class. Now, the same as legend, and legend always does my head in because everybody's a legend these days.
In their own minds.
Yeah, honestly, if I'm starving and my lad comes in with chips and gravy, he's a legend. You know,
I think though, in terms of that, if I had to answer now, 5 world-class players that City have had or have got, it's not that difficult.
Go on.
Kevin, Silva.
Don't play for us.
No, but they have played for us. Kevin, Silva, Aguero, Rodri, and if I had a 5th one.
Place between the 2 posts.
See, Anne-Marie, I'm sure you've just said you'd find it easy.
Yeah, well, I think then I'd have to go with Vinny, but that's biased.
Did you say Mahrez then?
No, I didn't know.
All right, sorry. But, okay then, so out of them, right, you've missed players like Yaya, Fernandinho. And by the way, like it or not, was Mahrez.
No. Neither was Fernandinho.
But that's what was Zabaleta.
No.
But that's what I'm saying. It gets in those 2 words, legend and world class, get in the way of interpretation because.
Yeah, but they're overused words, Andy. That's what we were saying.
Yeah,
it's completely overused.
Okay, then, despite what he's said recently, are you telling me Kyle Walker wasn't world class?
No, I don't believe he was.
Kyle Walker.
Kyle Walker.
No, he wasn't. It wasn't because he wasn't because if you watch him, I mean, and he was at fault for the England goal the other night.
No.
I'm just saying if you watch, there were certain games, particularly when he gave away penalties, they were needless. There was no tackle necessary.
So did Company.
Yes, I'm not saying he didn't, but I'm just discussing Walker at the minute with you. And for me, no, he wasn't world class.
You're talking
he was. When Kyle Walker prime, right? And I'm going to put you on the spot now. Kyle Walker prime. You name a right back in the world at Kyle Walker prime was better than Kyle Walker.
No one. Nobody.
And you have the world to choose from. Then name a better right back and Kyle Walker in his prime.
Have you froze there, Anne-Marie?
No, I'm not froze. I'm thinking. Look, I have to say, I don't know enough other footballers to predict you.
There's the whole point. You don't know enough, but you know enough to say he's not the best right back in the world in his prime, even though you don't know every right back in the world. So that's not fair.
Well, no, but then it's like saying Yaya isn't a legend. Yaya is not a legend.
It's not for me, and that's why I'm saying it all comes down to
it's personal opinion.
Yeah, personal opinion, and fans have their favourites. It's simple. It's like Tethers was world class. You'd never get Stan recognising him as world class. Is he a legend? No, because of well documented off the field stuff. But as a player, bloody hell, of course he was world class. But Stan won't recognise that.
I don't think Haaland's world class. I don't think
Haaland's because Haaland's still got work to do.
Haaland's not world class, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I said earlier we don't buy world class players. We make world class players. Aguero wasn't world class. David Silva wasn't world class. Yaya wasn't world class.
David Silva was pretty close to it when we got him. In fairness, he was.
Well, how come we only got him for £24 million then? You can't buy me. You can't buy me for £24 million these days.
Like, maybe I'm old-fashioned, whatever, but when I think world class, I'm thinking Pelé, Maradona, Van Basten, Roberto Carlos. Them guys, they were the elite of the elite. Like, there's nobody like. There's very few in the Premiership stands out like that. There's even less in Spain.
And and again, I'll keep saying it all comes down to definition. With Haaland in particular, there's no player in world football, in my opinion, does what Haaland does by banging them goals in the net. There's no better player in the world. Is he a world-class player? No, because it's still work in progress. So you add all these little ingredients, and they always say, to make a cake, you've got to add all these ingredients, for the finished cake. All that will come because now he'll have players like Cherky, Reinders, who'll be passing them balls through. They'll be playing in the team more regular than KDB did because, it's well documented that A, KDB's not with us, but B, the injuries what KDB's had. So when KDB's in the team, Haaland always scores goals. But he's got a lot to do, Haaland. Do I think he will be world class? Yeah. There's no doubt about it. What is he, 24? And we're judging somebody. It's almost like who's got the biggest dick kind of thing, isn't it? I have, no, you have. It's like this Cherky versus bloody Florin Wirtz debate.
I'm not sure Anne-Marie understands that.
No, I don't.
Obviously, it's me. No,
in your dreams as well.
You say so.
No, at the moment, we've got this. When we was linked with Florin Wirtz, right? Nobody was on about Cherky or anything like that. And all City fans, oh yeah, Florin Wirtz. He's gone to Liverpool, and now Liverpool fans are saying he's better than Cherky. You've got the same City fans saying no, Cherky's better. Cherky's better than Florin Wirtz. Why can't we just say the two fantastic footballers? We don't have to always compare. It's nonsensical sometimes. And that's why it is overused. Exactly what Staffy Dave says there. World class is much overused phrase nowadays.
I'm sure I said that 15 minutes ago.
And I'm sure I said it before. I even said it before you come on because you was late.
Yeah,
There's 2 world-class players in that Man City team at the moment. Ederson and Rodri. The rest are not world-class.
Wouldn't you say Gvardiol?
No. Not a hope.
Diaz? Bernardo?
No. No. We're talking world-class now.
Would you? Who's got the potential?
We're talking world-class.
Do you reckon has got potential?
I think he is going to be outstanding. I can't wait for this season. He's starting like a child at Christmas.
And I've only just seen that's exactly what I was saying. What Nick? And by the way, Nick's joining us next week on the show. Be great to have Nick on. And again, if anybody wants to join us, in shows coming forward, you're all welcome to come and join us and have a giggle and get involved. But yeah,
he's 100% right. Actually, he's a world-class striker. He's not a world-class player.
I said
like
that before.
A world-class player means you have everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree. So
there, exactly. That's my point.
Top of the league. You be honest with yourself now. When Vincent Kompany was one-on-one with a player going into that box, it was your heart not in your mouth that he was going to do one of them stupid sliding tackles and give a penalty away.
By the way, Padre, can I just let you know, top of the league is Anne-Marie's burner account.
No, it isn't. But that's my point. He did always have a mistake in him.
Anne-Marie, no, 2 seconds, Andy. Which one of them Man City players doesn't have a mistake in them?
There's some that you feel more confident. Hang on, there's some of them you feel more confident in than others, isn't there?
Diaz?
Who?
Diaz has got a mistake in him as well. I fully admit to that.
Yeah, Bernardo Silva, nasty little devil, gets away with that.
Like what Kevin's saying there, Aguero was world class, and it all comes down to opinions and stuff like that. When we got Aguero, I don't think he was world class.
No, I'm going to go back to Nick Jackson's point. He was a world class finisher, a world class striker. He wasn't a world class player.
And to be fair, Pep got even more out of Aguero, like more work rate and stuff like that. So it just shows you it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still learn, can't you, Anne-Marie?
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah, we'll have you convinced about Walker by the end of this show.
But that staggers me, that, Anne-Marie, because everybody recognises Walker was a world class fullback. There was nobody better around.
It's all about opinions, Andy.
Mm-hmm. I seen something where. Who was it now? It was what footballer was it? They actually put Mahrez over Neymar Jr. They rated him a better player, all-round player, and I thought, and then you realise what did the games against Paris Saint-Germain when I think Neymar tried to rainbow flick over Mahrez. Mahrez destroyed PSG on his own in two games. Sometimes you have pivotal moments where you think, something, the lad has got it. I'd tell you who has got a really, really good first touch as well. Our new Algerian. It must be in their blood. He can. And again, next season, we bought a 24-year-old player, fullback, dirt cheap from Wolves, who's already got 5 years. As not necessarily Premier League experience because Wolves sort of like dip down and back up, but he's got bundles of Premier League experience and he's 24. So you'd like to think somebody, and he's an attacking fullback as well. So we're just, and again, in fact, Anne-Marie, when did I say we'd win the league by at least 10 points?
On the 1st of June.
Is there anything especially with us on the back of the signings, where you think I might be right?
Andy, it's for me, I can't get carried away at this moment in time. I want to see these new players play. I want to see how they do. I don't go off what YouTube tells me, because I think that obviously it can be biased in what you're seeing. So wait until I've watched them play a few games, and then I'll be able to judge better. But until then, I don't want to get carried away.
Is that a yes or a no? I agree with it.
Marie. You have to be excited about what's coming. You have to be excited about the potential.
I don't like to get overly excited, because
no shit.
Well, no, look, I'm still in that. What we've achieved over the last 10, 12 years is amazing, but there's still that little part of me that goes, typical City.
I know, but look how happy you look, Anne-Marie. But I'm with Paddy. I'm really looking forward to it, because what we will get as well, what Reinders, Cherky, we know with Foden, we know with Rodri, we've seen it with Gonzalez. They like to have a shot from outside the box. So I think we're going to see a lot of long-range efforts, this long-range goals next season.
We are going to steamroll teams next season. We're going to annihilate them.
How many points are we going to win the league by, Paddy?
40.
You laughed at me the other week when I said 10.
Do I need to make a note of your prediction now?
Oh, Jesus, no. I'll be happy with 40 points.
See, I agree with it there. Gvardiol on his way to being world, he really is. And we will see it, because we bought him as a centre back. He did a very, very good job as left back. Now we're going to see that Diaz Gvardiol combination. I can see that combination going pretty much in the terms when Diaz and Stones played the most together. You know, I think that was a benchmark for defensive display. I can see Gvardiol smashing it. Yeah, what we're going to do at right back. Let's not forget Kushinov. Left back's nailed down. We've got Nunes who can play right back. Aki can play left back. Akanji can play right back, and they all can play centre back as well. So it's going to be an head scratcher. If we can't predict how we're going to line up next season, surely how's an opposition manager going to do that?
Well, I think you know who's going to be left back, and I think you'll know who'll be up the front. But apart from that, or the goalkeeper maybe. But then again, that's a bit dicey as well.
I'm just really looking forward to it. Are you going to be watching the Club World Cup?
It depends what time it's on.
Not at 3 o'clock in the morning, I won't.
Oh, Jesus, no, I'll be in my...
I will, because the day after I'll have an admin day at home working. What's up with that?
No.
Nothing.
As much as I love City, I wouldn't be cleaning up to 3 o'clock in the morning to watch them.
What?
No, I don't love them that much.
Is that why?
And it depends on who's showing it as well.
Sorry?
It's Channel 5.
Yeah, Channel 5 aren't showing all our games, though, are they?
I'm pretty sure they are. And Dan's whatever they call DAZN.
Yeah, but that's a stupid app, isn't it?
I'm sure you can get it through your Fire Stick. Not your dodgy one. I mean, no, not the dodgy one. You know, through your Fire Stick. I'm sure there's a.
Yeah, you can get it on. You can get it on Sky. I know you can, but yeah.
I agree with Steve there, Anne-Marie. Do you want to read it?
Maya Jammer is not a mistake, Anne-Marie. That's a matter of opinion, Steve.
Let's hope Diaz doesn't make a mistake and covers it up.
Go on, Anne-Marie. I'll let you read that one next as well.
Walker at his best was unbelievable.
Absolutely, 1,000,000%.
And if anybody can tell me what footballer said this recently, like on TikTok and stuff like that, they do like comparisons to players and stuff like that. They'll say, for instance, he'll have, say, Rooney, Aguero, and the former player says which one they think's better. And it did actually come out Mahrez was better than Neymar.
So the Barcelona team carried Neymar. Mahrez won that league for Leicester.
Mm-hmm. And he was instrumental in the treble winning season as well.
Mm-hmm.
Did you agree then, Anne-Marie?
Look, I'm not disagreeing with you. Just for my liking, he didn't necessarily work hard enough.
Right. So yeah.
He didn't like to track back.
But do you not think Pep told him to do that, Anne-Marie?
Possibly, but I think it was to our detriment at times. That's just
right.
it is.
So it's not Mahrez you have the issue with, it's Pep's instructions.
If that's what it was, then yes.
Do you agree with Steve there, Anne-Marie?
Well, there's every possibility I will, because
Anne-Marie, I know you love me.
I love him. Absolutely love him.
She's having a moment.
I'm biting my tongue so I don't say something I'll really regret.
Speak your mind. Say what you want to Paddy. It's him who pressed it, not me.
No, it isn't. Paddy doesn't have access to it.
Yeah. So from Anne-Marie's burner account, she says, think in regards of the job he did, Bernardo was world class because no one else could do what he did in the big games. Bernardo is a world class at shithousery. There's no better player in world football than Bernardo.
Yeah, but every team needs one like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. And Bernardo, it looks like Bernardo will be staying with us as well, thankfully. So there's going to be some competition in that squad next season.
Of course there is.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know if you've seen photographs or videos of Foden.
Photographs?
He's been in the weights
How old are
room.
you? 87?
He's been in the weights room.
Who has?
Foden. He's a
he
fair bit of muscle mass put on.
Mm-hmm.
He just needs to put his hair now. Be like.
Steve wants to know any news on the Walker transfer.
Well, Steve, we've got Stan out and about on the lookout to see if he can pick up.
We have our
any
correspondent out gathering that news, Stan.
Yeah, Stan is currently in Milan. Gordon says Walker, one of the best defenders I've ever seen. However, he made me nervous when carrying the ball forward. I'd say the latter stages of his City career, I'd say that. But again, I will back him 100% for he was world class. Kevin says
that's the problem in modern day football now. Defenders have to be like fucking Maradona. Like your job is to defend, and anything you can do after that is a bonus.
Yeah, just like I said before, Nick says Diaz and Stones were great together, built a partnership and friendship. And it's got to be like that because I believe they used to go out, the families used to go out and stuff like that. I bet Stones still wants to be his friend and go out now as couples.
Well, I'll tell you, he's a lot of fucking time to do it. He hasn't kicked the ball since January.
Well, he's over at the Club World Cup, isn't
he? Yeah,
he's gone part of
the spectator.
It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen with Stonesy, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. Speaking of which, we're going to have a quick chat about Jack because we've been on a while now.
Go on.
Make me sad.
It makes me sad. For Jack Grealish, I just want him to just not football related. I just want Jack to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I do worry for the lad. I really, because if the rumours are true and he is leaving us, I think mentally that could really, really hurt him.
Is he the only one that didn't go to the World Club Cup?
McAtee hasn't gone, but that's because he's playing with the under-21s.
He's captain in the under-21s, isn't he? But I do actually worry for Jack, his mental well-being.
But everyone else has.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you have to be a genius to know the writings on the wall.
Well, I agree. Go on, Anne-Marie. You wanted to speak about him. Go on.
Just pretty much what you've said. I worry about him because I think he is a good footballer, and I just want him to be okay. Because there isn't just himself to think about now. He's got a child and his girlfriend and whatever else. So I just want him to be okay.
Yeah, Paddy, you know a lot about with the job, what you do and stuff like that, mate. How can you see things affecting Jack?
I think it's with Jack Grealish. I think it's a double-edged sword. It can go both ways. My fear is that he goes to a club where they're lenient on the party side of life, and Jack will go down that road. For whatever reasons, maybe he might cop himself on now that he is got a child and might be the turning point for him, but it might have come too late at Man City. Like, he's probably the only, himself and Foden, the time Pep went to the Aguero's retirement, and Foden and Jack Grealish turned up half pissed and were sent home. I think it's about the only two players ever in that Man City group that ever happened to during Pep's reign. I think Jack Grealish is one of the most gifted footballers in the world. I don't think he plays in the position he wants to play. Like, I know he was given free rein at Aston Villa, but I think I really worry about Jack. I think Jack is on a slippery slope.
Sadly, mate, I think you're right, and you'd think that the club have already looked after him, because was it the last season before Pep had said that he'd work with him, so like on his mental well-being and stuff like that, and you'd think we'd have the best people around, to work with Jack Ophie, and if that's not working for him, then I agree. I worry a little bit. Paddy, show Kevin your view. Look at that. See, to be fair, anybody can buy a flat on the Manchester Ship Canal, can't they, Anne-Marie?
That's right.
You've got one, haven't you?
Yeah.
Is that the one she works at? Her OnlyFans one?
Well,
Don't have an OnlyFans account. Don't start spreading shitty rumours.
No, we know you don't have one. You have two of them.
you subscribe, don't you, Paddy?
Both of them. Fucking Robin, that's what she is.
Yeah. Jack's dream to play with KDB and play for Pep, and could lose both dreams.
Well, he hasn't lost them, has he? He achieved his dreams.
No, but I mean, I know he's achieved them, but the way it's sort of like petering out, because I thought Jack would have started the FA Cup final. So I thought, was it the semi-final what he played okay?
Yeah, but there was another round where he didn't start, and it literally the only two games in the cup FA Cup competition he didn't start was, I can't remember which one it was, and the final. whether it was Portsmouth. Was it Portsmouth or Plymouth? Plymouth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I don't think Jack's been poor when he's played for us.
No.
So it's
No.
Are the media right or the media wrong? You know, with some of his antics. You know, is it targeting him, or do you think there's a lot of truth in it?
Oh, that's pure bullying. That's what it is. The pure.
I mean, and in fairness, Pep's not stupid, and Pep picks his teams based on what he sees in training. Yeah. So there's obviously something that's not right. If Pep's not even, that he's not picking him, and yet he's watching it. No, Steve Black, I don't have an OnlyFans account.
Top of the league, wrong side of the country. That's the Atlantic, not the RUC.
Is that the Atlantic?
Yeah.
Wow.
Next stop, New York.
Oh, there you go, Anne-Marie from DC.
Oh, thanks, DC. We've had a good day together today. I've been his personal taxi.
That's what dads are for.
Which child bought you the biggest present, Andy? No, the ones you don't have a favourite.
With what, sorry?
Yeah, which child bought you the biggest present?
Yeah.
They bought combined.
Yeah, but who contributed most?
They both took me out for breakfast this morning. Once my muggy head went.
Who paid for that?
Them?
Yeah, but
both of them.
Which one of them? They both couldn't pay. Who tapped?
Both of them at the same time. You know,
well, I took Dad for a brunch this morning, and then because it would have been 52 years ago tomorrow since him and Mum got engaged, so I took him to the cemetery because that's where he wanted to go, and took her a load of flowers. And then I took him to go and see both my other sisters. Not quite as proud as they should be, but
Jesus, there's not more of yous, is there?
I've got two younger sisters, but they're not like me.
Obviously, they're going to be younger.
Yeah, but you'll be pleased to know they're not like me.
What, United fans?
No, they're not. They're not interested in football at all.
I bet they still know more than you. I bet they still know more than you, and they know Walker was world class. Well, a little sad story before we go. I went to the Lionel Richie gig with the missus on Thursday. Sat next to this old couple, and he just got talking to him and stuff like that. And 74, I think he was, and he's just recovering from loads of different. Well, he's had loads of different cancers and stuff like that, and now he's got Alzheimer's. And he told me the same thing. We was at the gig, say 2 hours. He must have told me the same things 5-6 times, but each time he told me, his face was lighting up as if it's the first time he'd ever told anyone who's reliving it. I thought it was really, really sad. But I tell you what, if Jeff ever watches the show, what a inspirational human being he is. He really is. Something things like that put things into perspective, don't they?
Of course they do.
That's it.
And it's like it's not. It's like people like Mother's Day, Father's Day, and stuff like that.
It's a tough one for people.
It really is. My parents are no longer with us, so when I see people, out like you've spent loads of time with your dad today, Anne-Marie. The moments to be treasured, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. You don't ever want to take them for granted. And that's what I would say to anybody. And I've got the absolute pleasure of him being 85 on Tuesday. So double whammy for him. Yeah.
Good. Cherish them moments.
That's it. And thinking of everyone today, whether it's happy memories or just sadness, you know, Father's Day's a tough one. And thinking of you all.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are you up to for the rest of the week, Munchkins?
Work for me, and then a week off next week.
You didn't put any request in for a week off.
No, I'll be here. I'll be here.
Right.
I'll be on, but I'm having a week off actual work. This is just fun, isn't it, Paddy? We do this for shit.
Spent both weeks like that.
Well, that's it. I'm having an admin day.
Go on, Paddy. I'll let you read Steve's comment out.
My mum was in Benidorm looking for that.
Well, enjoy your week off, Anne-Marie. Enjoy your week off.
I'm in this week. I'm in work this week, but it's a 4-day week for me, so I'm looking forward to having a break from work. Good,
a well-deserved break as well. Because I'm joking aside, I know you work really hard. Not you, Paddy, Anne-Marie. Right. Yeah. So City play on Wednesday, is it, in the Club World Cup?
Wednesday, 5:00 on Channel 5.
Yeah.
Wednesday, 5:00.
Wednesday at 5:00, and I think let me just have a look. I think PSG are playing Atletico Madrid. Oh, and PSG are winning 2-0. And just to give you all a good giggle, the 5:00 game tonight was Bayern Munich against Auckland City, and that game finished 10-0 to Bayern Munich.
And I saw something with London Blue on Twitter. He actually put the comparison of if anyone's not following London Blue on Twitter, he's a top fella as well. He had a comparison of the Bayern Munich result today and side by side when we beat Burton Albion 9-0, and we was being slaughtered for being disrespectful. Nick, Nick, I think I may be going to that one, mate. I think I might. That's the one with Gav and Eddie's organised, isn't it? I think I may be at that one, buddy. So excellent.
Well, can we have photo evidence of the pair of you then, please?
And again, we will have Nick on the show next week. It'll be good to get somebody else on rather than your mugs.
Blue Heart, are you taking the pee? Keep up the good work, Andy.
Blue Heart, have you been drinking?
Love you, Blue Heart.
Now, hang on, that's Andy's burner account.
Must be. If Andy thought there was work in the bed, he'd sleep on the floor.
Yeah. Steve wants to know if you work in the Algerian embassy.
No, I've never. If I did, he'd never have got in the country.
Whoa! That's
what?
Terrible. Anyway, listen, guys, especially you in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us as always. Sorry, it was a bit of not a rant at the start of the show but again, we'll finish on it. Well done to go on, Anne-Marie, I'll let you say it. Because
well done to 1894, the trade unions and the food bank for getting City to see sense about ticket prices, and also a couple of reps off City Matters.
Yeah.
Well done.
Listen, whatever you're doing this week, have a great week, and this time next week we will see how we're doing in the Club World Cup.
Yeah, take care of yourselves, everyone.
Yeah, have a good one, guys, and we will do it all again next week. Have a good one. See you later.
Bye, folks.
Bye.